search for it. Every week, Phil and Aman search for it. Every week.
Good morning, everyone. You're listening to the Phil and Aman Search For podcast. I'm your host, Phil, and I'm joined by Aman. Shout out to the people.
What's up, bro? What are you saying, man? Just vibing.
There we go. Perfect. Let's get this kicked off here. I am excited and also pissed off about not having very many food options in our area, man. So
I feel that.
Yeah, next year we're getting a Chick-fil-A location here in Kitchener next to us.
Okay.
But we got a lot of these coming here, and there's nothing super around us that's too
to kind of paint the picture. What would you say are our best options around us?
We got a Firehouse Subs, man, and then after that, it's all just regular fast food. You got
Popeyes,
your McDonald's, your Popeyes, and Wendy's
KFC.
and all that. There's nothing gourmet.
Yeah,
I want gourmet
nothing
fast
popping
food,
around
man.
here, man. It's a drought. It's been a drought for a while. A couple restaurants come up here and there around town, but
And I know to eat
good.
local too. I still support my local restaurants. Don't worry. But sometimes you're in that mood, we got a Krispy Kreme in Mississauga here.
Yeah, and it's always lined up.
Yeah,
man.
bro, fucking, and sometimes we take that 40-minute trip-ish. We get in all the cars. Fucking, the whole squad links up there. Fucking, 8-10 of us, whatever, man. And we're all waiting in line for donuts. Half of us don't even want them. Some people are getting 3 to take home. Fucking, 3 dozen that is. And it's just man.
It blows my mind that when you look at the parking lot, that's such a tiny place is producing food for that many cars.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to think about that.
For real. And I've seen ones. I don't think that one has a drive-through. But I've seen ones with drive-throughs and stuff like that, and it's just it blows my mind that that there's people that line up and fucking possibly get in their cars and just fucking wait forever just to get those donuts. But man, they're addicting.
Man, they slap though. Yeah. I'm not talking shit. I like them.
Actually, it wasn't until a few years ago where I'd never had one before, and they were all like, "Yo, let's get in the car. Let's hop to Mississauga. Let's get a fucking let's get a Krispy Kreme." And I was just like, "All right, sure, whatever." I'm going there. I mainly went for the coffee at first, to be honest, because I was like, "I want a coffee."
I've never heard anybody say that before.
No, me neither, man.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and I was just like, "Oh, they're coffee shop with donuts, right?" And I was like, they gotta have some good coffee. And we roll up there, and I'm just like, man, I think I'm just gonna get coffee. Everyone's like, you're not gonna get donuts, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe one. And they're like, you can't just get one. And I was like, all right, man, what should I get?
Snap, man.
Yeah, and they're like, get a dozen originals. And I'm like, originals, man, I want these flavored ones. They got chocolate coating, they got fucking sprinkles, they got strawberry. I'm not a big fan of strawberry, but that was for someone else. But yeah, and they're just like, no, I'll get the original. So I was like, all right, I'll get half original, half of the flavored ones. And so I went through that, and I got the half original, half flavored, and they were right, man. Fucking, you gotta fuck with the originals, man. Those were the best ones. And the ones with chocolate icing and all those coatings and shit like that, not too bad either. But for real, I couldn't believe that everyone was flipping out for these, and then I experienced it myself, and I'm like, you know what? I agree now. Also, the coffee was shit, so I can understand why people don't rave about their coffee anymore.
Yeah, man. The coffee, my personal experience with coffee is always getting it black. So I don't really know if it tastes good because it always tastes the same to me.
That's fair.
But this coffee, I remember distinctly tasting super bad.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the usual run of shit taste. It was extra bad.
Extra bad. Yeah, man. It was watery. It was just I don't know, super burnt, and just it's got this weird taste, and
it sits all day, I would imagine too, because not too many people get it probably. So,
yeah, I don't know, man. I just figured where I used to work, we had that whole fucking we went through so much coffee in general, but they were like, oh, you don't let pots sit and all that, and you gotta time them and shit, because you don't want giving customers burnt coffee. And I'm like, all right, fuck it, whatever.
Fair, yeah.
So I kind of just figured that would extend over, because I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna get a maybe it's 10 minutes old or whatever, and I don't imagine they're making a shit ton of coffee, but a small batch every now and then get right into it and just be like, all right, we're down half a batch in the last half hour, let's make a new pot. But
well, I guess imagine if they had just a giant vat instead of a pot. It's just a big ass vat.
It was brewed, 100 years ago, and then slowly, like, we're not
Like
gonna
a
let this
wooden
shit go to
barrel.
waste. Treating it like whiskey in that wooden barrel. Yeah, it's like, oh, it ages, bro. Like,
Aged coffee.
for real though, it kind of like weirds me out though, real quick, that like I've mentioned this before to our friends, but like coffee's just bean juice if you think about it.
Yeah.
And they always tell me shut the fuck up. They're like, what are you talking about? Like, you're being a dumbass.
I'm a firm bean juice believer because like it definitely is just fucking bean juice.
Yeah.
And like coffee beans, just like holding them and smelling them is like really nice.
Yeah,
I like
and
that.
I
That's
told
just a weird fucking
no,
thing.
I agree. And I told you recently, like, I'm on a bit of a tea kick, and that's the same shit, man. That's just like, it's fucking some random, like, not grass clippings, but like it basically it's
Like
just fucking,
seeds of
yeah,
things.
it's like it's a mixture of all those fucking tea leaves and all that, and just like if you think about it, when it boils down to it, man, yeah, it's just weird that like this shit
Yeah.
is just flavored like
Yeah, we're sucking
bean
on the
and,
juices.
like grass juice, bro, but it
Grass
tastes
juice.
delicious.
That's jokes.
Yeah. But yeah, so around us, I'm hoping we get some more good shit. Cause like the other day, actually, I was in Waterloo with my girlfriend, and I don't know how I heard about it. Oh, it was my girlfriend's sister. She lives there in Waterloo, and she was like, "Oh, I found there's a Church's Chicken there," and I'm just like, "Oh," I was like, "We're in Waterloo." I was just like, "No, like." There's one here, and she's like, yeah, like it's right down like on like University Ave, and I was like, holy shit. And so I googled it, and we're in Waterloo and all that, and fucking I'm like, I had never knew this was here. Apparently it's built like I think like a year or two or something like that. So
Really?
it's relatively new, but I know in the States they go crazy for it, and I was just like, oh
Yeah.
man. So I was just like, I was excited to try it. And it was good shit, man. They like,
Oh, you
man.
actually went then?
I
eh?
actually
Yeah,
went.
that's
man.
crazy.
And I was like, I don't know what to get, because their menu is like, it's not a huge menu, but you're just like, oh shit, like what they have is like their sandwiches, and there's just like different twists on it. It's basically like, do you want just like a plain, with lettuce and mayo, or do you want like the cheese and like fucking crazy shit? So I just got like the
Crazy
regular
shit.
I just got the regular sandwich.
It tastes like what?
No, I think it's like a called the Tex-Mex or Texicana or something. I don't know. There's one in it. It's basically like that. But no, I got the fucking regular ass sandwich. The shit was fire though, man. They got fucking, it's a big ass sandwich, and then fucking I got some fries and shit or whatever the hell it was, and I didn't even eat all of it. I ate the burger and I was full, man, and fucking I was just like, damn, I'm gonna come back here though.
I definitely am excited to try it. I didn't even know that existed before you just told me about it right now. So
Yeah.
like I'm definitely gonna give that a review on next week's podcast, because I don't think I can go more than a couple of days without trying that shit, man.
yeah, head to Waterloo, man.
Hell yeah,
Fucking
man.
right after this.
It's also crazy because like Phil was saying, like we literally don't have like any exclusive to like where we live like spots. So like there's nothing special about like eating here. Like you literally, most of the time, like when I'm out with like people, like I usually don't like eat out like where we are. Like I usually just go to the next town over or something like that, or make that extra drive, because it's like worth, even though it's the same restaurant, I like for some reason it's just worth it,
Exactly. And I like it, definitely I can understand like our city's pretty mid-sized. Like it's not like exactly like a small town, or like it's smaller, but it's not like the smallest. I can understand like why Waterloo and stuff, because like they got a huge just population just from in general, but they also have the university students and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
I definitely have the infrastructure to support it. For
yeah,
sure.
exactly, right. Businesses aren't probably gonna fail there.
Yeah.
But definitely I want some more like crazy places where we live just kind of migrate a little bit over here, and like it's not even anything that crazy, like give me like there's a Jersey Mike's in Kitchener, man, and like I want that to come a little bit closer, because I don't want to have to drive 25-30 minutes just to get a sub. But that shit fucking rocks, man. I remember the first time having one of those, I couldn't fucking believe that shit. I'm just like, I want one of these, man. And I'm like,
no, most definitely. Some spots like Jersey Mike's and like I don't know, just like a couple other spots too. Like I don't know, they just slap so hard, and it just like kind of makes you like sad that they're not there. But then again, it also makes it worth going on the drive.
That is
go
true,
there,
yeah. It's always nice, like, but like you have like a Subway or like Mr.
Yeah,
Sub,
Subway's bullshit,
and
bro.
it's just like,
I fucking hate Subway.
you hate Subway?
I don't like Subway at all, man.
Oh, okay, let's get into this in
Yeah,
a sec.
so
but
Subway, has this aroma to it. If you've never been into a Subway, you might not know what I'm talking about. But if you've been past a Subway or in a Subway, you definitely know.
I got a story about this after.
The aroma I'm talking
aroma.
about. And it's just fucking not appetizing, man. Like, I don't know what it is about it, but something about that smell makes my like stomach turn. And a lot of the time when I don't know, they're making my sandwich and all that, I just find like I'm grossed out by every step of the process. And like I'm not enjoying it. Like I'm not enjoying them making my sandwich. And like it's just like I'm not happy in the store
That's
while
fair.
they're making my sandwich, you know? And like that's the best way I can describe it. Like every time I go in there, it's like when I eat food, I want to be like happy about the purchase I made and like enjoy the meal.
Yeah, you don't want to spend $15 on bullshit. Man.
Yeah, based on like a couple things like price, like quality of food, and I don't know, just like overall like goodness of food and like all that kind of stuff, and like how much it slaps, how much you get, and all that. Like those kind of things factor into that, and Subway checks none of those boxes for me. And yeah, it's fucking sucks, man. I do not recommend going to Subway. It makes my tummy hurt too a lot.
That's your review for the week. But no, for real, man. I understand that 100%. Like, Subway to a degree is just like, it's so easy, and it's like, you know what I mean? You can go in there and just, give me a 6-inch fucking a cold cut, and you're on your way, and whatever, you got lunch for the day. And like, meh, it's you know, it's a sub, man, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But there's a few local places that I've tried. They're a lot more expensive. There's one, you know, closer to me, and it's independently owned. And I haven't been there in a little bit, but like I went there on their grand opening, and their whole thing was better than Subway, basically.
Really?
It's kind of ridiculous that was their whole basically like slogan, not even slogan, but like just general gimmick. And when they first opened, where it's just like, yeah, man, like good fucking eats, better than Subway. And I went there, and yeah, man, they got good subs. And like I went with my my friend's family, and there was 4 of us, and it ended up being like quite a bill. Luckily they paid, man.
Yeah, how much was it? Was it more than $50?
Yeah, I think so, bro.
Holy, that's fucked. That's actually
but
crazy.
Like that's the thing, you know what I mean? And like you get these subs that are a lot better in quality, and you like them a lot. You know what I mean? And
no, I get that. Yeah,
that's what I like about Jersey Mike's too, man. The ingredients just look a lot better, and fucking like everything slaps a little bit more and tastes a lot better. You
Even
see
with,
them like shredding the meat in front of you too and shit.
Yeah, that kind of stuff helps too. Like I don't like when like meat's like laying out, and like, oh, it's just so gross to me, you know? Like when like stuff lays out, like and like I don't know, like stuff laying next to each other too is another thing that Subway's really bad for. Where like there'll be like meat, and then there's
contamination.
Yeah, and then there's like a bunch of other shit like next to it. It's just like that grosses me out,
For
and
sure.
like that's fucking disgusting, you know? And like I don't know.
Don't rock with it.
Yeah, I just don't. It just doesn't sit like, again, like I'm not happy when I'm in those situations. But like when it's like when they're making it in front of you, it's almost like it's kind of crazy too, because like ignorance is definitely bliss when like I'm ordering food and I can't see them making it, because they could be like wiping their ass with the bun.
Like, you know, it's around the corner in the back. You can't see the girls. You can kind of see some people in the back.
Yeah,
You're
it's just like
fuck it.
this hits.
You've been
Like,
fucking spitting on my chicken McNugget right
Oh
now.
my
You know, I'm gonna still
God.
dunk it in sauce, and it's still gonna be blessed. Like,
dude, like how many videos have you seen online of people like wilding out like behind the scenes at McDonald's, like dunking like fucking McChickens
yo, you
and
ever
like
see that
the
thing? It
mobs?
was Burger King foot lettuce. Someone worked at Burger King, and they just put their bare feet on a thing of lettuce.
Oh,
Bro, it circulated on like Twitter and fucking Reddit, and I don't know, like it's a big meme. I don't know if you ever want to Google that, but
that sounds nasty.
yeah, foot
That's
lettuce, bro.
fucking
That's a big
gross.
fucking.
That's gross.
But
But
yeah.
yeah, like when I order food and I can't see them making it, it's just like totally fine. But like when I'm watching them make it, like I'm just such an asshole. Like I watch like every little like
Yo, they
thing they're doing.
skimp on the pickles too, man. I like pickles on my
Oh
stuff.
man, yo, fuck, man. Like I try not to be like, I don't know, like picky when they're like doing stuff, and like if they like skimp out on something, I'm not like, oh, give me more and like all that. But like sometimes it's just like, just give me more, yo.
Here's my thing. Like I get like a standard. I get like lettuce, tomato, some cheese, like whatever, right? And I feel like all their proportions are fine. You know what I mean? For all that, like, you know, they give me a good amount of lettuce, tomato, meat, whatever, bro. When it comes to pickles, I don't know why these motherfuckers be skimpy as shit. I'm getting
People be
they're
skimpy
giving me
on
like
pickles, though.
3 pickles on like a foot long, and I'm just like, bro, what? And I'm in the exact same situation like you. I don't want to be like more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to be that.
Because it's
asshole.
like, so if you ask for more and they don't give you the amount that you still need, it's just
Yeah.
like you don't want to ask again. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah, you know, there's people out there that'll be like, yo, basically give me half the tin of fucking pickles or whatever, bacon or whatever the fuck they're putting on their sandwich. But yeah, that's my issue with Subway. But funny story though, speaking of, you're talking about that aroma, and I know exactly what you mean, man. I was a few years ago, I was with 2 of my friends and one of my friends' ex, and the 4 of us were all at Canada's Wonderland.
Yeah.
And my friend's ex didn't really do well with rides, so he went and he did go on rides, but he kind of just like chilled for a little bit after a while, just because like made his stomach upset and everything. And I love rides, man. I'm the first. I'm always sitting in the front. I'm putting my hands up. I'm
too,
screaming,
man.
like
I feel
I'm that fucking
I'm with
adrenaline
you.
junkie for real. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, we go and we're walking, you know, to get some lunch and all that, and it's like midday, and we're walking past, and he fucking gets the aroma of Subway in his nose, and like he's trying to like stomach it, and like he's just like trying to order a sub, and all of a sudden like I'm waiting in there with them while they're ordering, because I got like what did I don't know, I got like a funnel cake or some other shit. Not really lunch, but when you're in Canada,
When in Rome.
Anyways, and yeah, so they're ordering and I'm waiting in there, and then all of a sudden he's like, I'll be right back, and we're like, all right, like we'll take care of the rest of your sub and all that. And my friend, she orders the rest of whatever he has on the sub because she knew, and anyways, so we go out there and we're like chilling with him, and he's like, oh man, he's like, I threw up, like sick to my stomach and all that, and just from the smell of the sub, like, oh, obviously it was the rides too, but yeah, that Subway stench got to him, man. And then fucking
it's not a natural smell,
no,
to say the least.
And the worst thing is too, okay, so we go back, we finish the rest of our day, and we're like on rides and shit, and we're going home, and this is back before like I had my like full G, so or did I not even have my G2 yet? Might not even have my G2 yet. Anyways, my parents came to pick us up, and we're like giving us the ride home, and you know, we're getting in this car, and fucking we walk past the gates, and he smelled it again, and he was like, no, I'm fine, and we're like 10 minutes into our ride, and he's been, I guess, trying to stomach it the whole time.
Oh, no.
He's like, oh no, he's like, I'm not good. And my friend's like, yo, she's like, Phil, do you have anything for like Nate to puke in, right? And I was like, shit, no, I didn't expect to have like a fucking plastic bag or anything ready. And I was like, oh, I feel bad. So we had, you know, those big like water coolers that like offices have, like with the jugs of water. We had an empty one of those. We had one for our house, and so we had an empty one of those in the back that we were gonna fill with water like later that day, and we grabbed it out of the back trunk for him and fucking gave it to him, and he puked all in it. And we get back to our house, and we're dropping him off, and we dropped him off first because obviously he's not feeling good, and my parents felt bad, and fucking so we drop him off, and he's like I'll rinse this out and clean it and give it back to you if you want. And I was just like, throw it out, man.
Get rid of it. Oh my god, that was nasty.
Yeah, man, I felt really bad for him, but he said he had a good day still, and that's what matters, man.
Oh, good on him then, man. Yeah,
and he was a good champ about it, so it was always good. But yeah, I knew as soon as you said that Subway smell, I was like, I gotta tell this story, man.
That smell is disgusting, man. Yeah, definitely. Like, it's like one of those smells too that it hasn't changed since we were like kids. You know, it's like consistently been fucking disgusting. And like, I don't know, man, maybe it stems from back when I was a kid, and like back when we were growing up, man, like I don't know if this happened to you, but like I remember getting like sick a lot more from like food. Like I feel like there was like a lot less standards back in the day for like health and safety, and there was a lot more like, I don't know, E. coli action going on, and like like we were saying before, cross contamination was probably a lot worse back then, and like maybe there wasn't a lot of like regular cleaning going on. But like I remember when I was a kid growing up, whenever I got like certain fast food, I would always get sick, and like Subway was like one of those things I always got food poisoning from. It was always fucking, you know, butthole sounding like a faucet, you know, yakking super hard. Jeez. Not good vibes, you know, and like that smell like definitely, you know, hits a certain, you know,
I don't know,
gag
like,
reflex.
I don't really remember have like a lot more. Maybe this is just me. I also didn't like as a kid. I don't like remember eating out as much. Maybe that's just me. But like I like
See, that could be the thing too, because like I also remember like not really eating out that often either. So like whenever I did, it always fucked with my stomach.
another thing too could be because like I was a really like I still kind of am picky. I've definitely grown a lot more and I'm a lot more interested in like trying. But like as a kid, I just stuck to like the regular like my parents would get me just a like a regular hamburger with mustard. So you can't really fuck it up when there's just like a hamburger patty and mustard. You know what I mean? Or if we went somewhere else, like if I went to like Taco Bell or whatever, I was getting like whatever like fucking kids eat, like just chicken nuggets and like just like taco or whatever. And maybe that's because like, I didn't try anything super like impressive as a kid, and I just stuck to kind of bare bones. Maybe there wasn't a lot of like.
Was your like parents cooking a lot like that too? Was it pretty like simple cooking?
Yeah, it was like pretty much like I grew up. And like my parents would, get me to try different things, and like especially like holidays and stuff like that. Like grandparents or like my family or whatever would bring different dishes and stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. As a child, just definitely I was kind of like very picky for a little bit until I hit probably I was probably like 7, 8ish when I started to try a lot more different foods, and I started.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I still like I said I still kind of like am picky for things. But definitely like I've tried a lot more food from like other cultures and like and like we've talked about it before, like cooking myself and all that, and like especially when I was like 12, 13, with my dad, and just kind of throwing whatever in a pot and fucking calling it food. It really opened up my my taste buds a little bit there.
Bro, my mom would not let me cook for the longest time. Like,
really?
Yeah, when I was like young, she would like I would always want to cook, and like I just like she would just never let me. She would just never trust me. And
did she think you were just gonna fuck up a lot, or?
Yeah, to be fair, my sister was like, this doesn't have anything to do with cooking, but she just didn't trust me and my sister after this. But one day my sister wanted to heat up this little muffin thing in the microwave, and she put it into the microwave, and instead of hitting like 20 seconds, she hit 20 minutes. And this fucking muffin like paper disintegrated. It was like flaming. The whole microwave was fucked up. So then like after that, my mom just like didn't let us touch anything, which is fair. I totally get that. But I remember in like high school, I took like a baking class, and then subsequently ended up in like the cooking class and all that kind of shit. And that was like when I first started cooking, and like that shit was lit, bro. Like that shit, yeah, it's so much fun cooking your own food,
Yeah, 100%. Speaking of cooking classes and all, I didn't take it in high school, but I knew people who did. And at my school we had a program where they were giving out like lunches and snacks and all that to like people who didn't have one and all that. And it was right by my science class, which got finished right before lunch. And a lot of the people I knew that were like in these cooking classes and all that were like they had a set schedule, so like every Friday they'd make pizza and like whatever. And they were making new things like during the day, but like most of the time a lot of the stuff they were cooking was helping with going to the cafeteria or to the lunch program. And so a lot of the time we'd get done at like our science class, and then it'd be fresh pizza right next door, and so we had like kind of first dibs on it. And it became really popular in my school because they gave away full ass bagels. They gave away the big chocolate milks, pretzels, like pepperoni sticks. Like they were giving out like full shit for free that they were selling in the caf for $5-10 a pop, versus they were just giving it away. And it's not like it was just like they had like a small like quantity and it's whatever. They had like so much shit that they usually had leftovers that they kind of just wasted a lot, because like I guess it's good to say that like not a lot of people didn't have lunches and stuff like that, or couldn't afford lunches. So it was just mainly just kind of for everyone. So I didn't feel bad going to grab a slice because it was just gonna go to waste. And the people who needed it we're gonna get it anyways, right? But it became so popular at my school that it was basically like they were kind of robbing themselves, because no one was gonna go buy these full chocolate milks and pizzas and whatever they were cooking and bagels that day, when they were just gonna give it away up for free.
Yeah.
So they ended up going from basically making extra, to kind of like, all right, we're gonna limit it, and then so it kind of ruined it at the end because like people got smart
Limited
to it. But
release.
I was one of the ones that was on it from day one because I had that insider knowledge from
That's jokes.
people taking that cooking course.
That's not jokes.
Yeah.
I definitely like used to always look forward to lunch because of the cafeteria, especially in the winter time when you didn't want to like go walk up the street to grab
Yeah.
something. Like the caf always slapped. They always had something that was good in there, and it was
Yeah.
always like relatively fresh. From probably like 9
Yeah.
o'clock in the morning. But
I
like,
don't know if your calf had this, but mine did, where they would make these. They called them mookies, but they were muffin cookies basically. They were just it was
Mookie?
muffin batter. Yeah, dude, it was muffin batter that was spread out, kind of thin.
That's jokes.
and it was huge. I swear to God, it
That's
was,
actually something bad good though.
yeah. And then they would cook it so like it would get kind of crispy, but it would also was like kind of still fluffy, and it would like rise. And yeah, and it was fucking. It was $2 a pop, I want to say.
Yeah.
And like my friend would come in with a $5 bill, and he'd get 2 of them, and then or come in with $6 and get 3 of them or whatever he had that day, and that would be his lunch. And like he was a pretty skinny kid, and like that was just all he was
3
eating.
monkeys got it done for him, man.
Yeah, he would just eat those multiple times for lunch. Like every day, and like it was a cheap lunch, but it wasn't nutritious. But yeah, he like they only made like so many too, and he would just come
My
and
man's
like buy
intestines are
most of the
screaming.
stock. Yeah. But yeah, our fucking other than that, like our calf kind of, well, it was decent. But like you said, like yeah, sometimes it was a really good savior when you didn't want to go take a walk, especially because in my area, like. My high school, there was nothing within that great. Like you had to walk a little bit to get somewhere, and I guess the closest we had was the plaza, and like there's a really good shawarma place there now.
Oh, okay.
And a corner store and a pizza place, but they're all like, it's all really greasy, and like the shawarma place used to
Sounds
be
like a depressing plaza.
Yeah, it used to be a newfie bar, and like we'd get in there, and it was like 10:30 because or like our first lunch break or whatever.
Yeah, lunch was so early in high school.
Yeah,
right?
it was fuck, man. I'm not trying to eat at 10:30 in the
Yeah,
morning.
man, what the fuck are they trying to do to you?
But yeah, we'd get in there at 10:30, and like it was this sketchy newfie bar, and they had cheap poutine. It was like $4, and it could feed like 3 of you. Like it was huge for $4. So we used to run down there and split it.
That's fire stuff.
Yeah, but the thing was like there would be these old men that were already drinking, and at like 10:30 in the morning, because like they're obviously alcoholics and all that. So it's like it's kind of depressing, and like the food, I know there was like cross contamination, and it was probably like gross as fuck. Like,
Yo, bro. So my girlfriend and my sister think it's so weird I don't like shawarma, but like shawarma is like one of those things that like I've had the worst experience with like sketching out about cross contamination. Like it's whenever I'm in this like in shawarma places, it's just so bad, man. Like
dude,
I don't want to be in there.
I've had bad shawarma before. It's not fun, bro.
It's not.
Like,
it's never like it's. Sometimes it's
gamble.
good. Like sometimes when my sister's having it, I'll have like a spoonful of like the rice and like like the sauce and like some of the meat, but. I don't know, man. It's just like I don't need a couple bites of it. Like I can never like order that.
There's one actually up near the mall near us, and it's new. It actually just opened within like the last few months. They're really good. They're like pretty clean and like all that. But I like most of the spots I know what you're saying. It's
man,
it's a little
sketchy,
man.
Sketch,
but like I don't. The sketch adds to the taste, man.
It adds to the authenticity.
The sketchier, like the more. It's either gonna be the best meal of your life or you're gonna fucking die. Like,
I like that gamble for sure. I definitely like that gamble.
I want to say I'm probably like a good like 90% on those coin flips winning them. And then, like taking those sketchy places and not dying.
The sketchy places that have like I don't know, just like weird architecture to them, like where the kitchen is just like you can clearly see into the back, and it's just like I don't know, there's like a big ass fridge in the way that they kind of have to squeeze past a little bit to get to the back, and then there's like a fan blowing, and
looks
it's
like it hasn't been fucking swept or mopped in like 8 years.
Man, there's a certain dirt gradient on it that you can only authentically get if something's been sitting there for a couple of years.
It's like something in the 90s or 80s, just like frozen time and just continued on.
There's like a calendar from fucking 2006 in there. It's like, what the fuck?
Oh,
They just keep it because the cars are nice on the pages.
There's that one good-looking woman on the front, and they're just like, yeah, I'm gonna marry her. She's like, 80 now.
Cool, yeah. She's got like a whole fucking like, she's living out her pension now.
For real though, there's this place in Brantford, and it's called Admirals, and my dad used to live in Brantford, and so we went there a few times, and I remember it. It's like one of the sketchiest looking places. Is exactly what we're talking about right there. Like, it looks like it's fucking run down as shit. I guess it's called a dive or whatever, right? Like those types of places, right?
Yeah.
And fucking, it's fire when you walk in though, and you see the menu, and it's those fucking. It's the whiteboard with the fucking black letters that you have to manually put in.
Oh.
And like the prices are like, grilled cheese $2. You know what I mean? And it looks like it like exactly from the 90s. Like, it never upgraded to like digital fucking or like.
That's fire.
Yeah.
That's fire. I like that.
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
like that food was fucking fire as shit, man. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. We got like these fried cheese curds and fucking their subs and fucking everything there was just fucking hit, man. Nothing ever disappointed. And like, I never ever got like any food poisoning or like upset at at anything from there. So
yeah, no, a lot of places like that I find are at least like clean enough to not fuck you up. It also depends on what you get too. I feel like I definitely feel like I'm a little bit of like a pickier eater when it comes to meat, and like my mom's a vegetarian, so like a lot of like my meals mainly throughout the week are like vegetarian meals, and then like occasionally I'll have something like with meat in it once in a while, and she'll make something with meat in it once in a while. So like anytime I get like meat from like fast food, it's just like I'm always like extra like sketched about it. Like, I don't know what it is. It's just like
it's a unknown factor. I get it, because obviously it's just like you trust your mom versus trusting some 16-year-old employee who's just like.
Word.
It doesn't really care that much. And like, I was a 16-year-old employee, so like I know exactly like
yeah,
I know exactly some of this shit goes on.
I remember, so one of my buddies used to work at KFC down in so there was like one rundown. We have a couple KFCs like now in Cambridge that are a little bit nicer, but back in the day, like in high school especially, there was this like only one KFC that was in our downtown area of my part of town.
Yeah.
So there was like no drive-through, no nothing.
Oh, I know exactly. Yeah.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so it was like a really like sketch rundown place, and we had to be like probably like I want to say around like 15, 16 around the time of this.
Real
maybe.
Quick, I still thought that was open. I drove past it not too long ago, and I realized, I was like, holy shit, when did this close? Because like, I swear to God, I just ate at this place like not too long ago, but I guess not, man.
Yeah, no, it's been closed down, but there's a reason why I closed down though too. And so like my buddy would basically like tell me, like, he held this job down for a couple of years, but like I remember at the beginning he used to like wild out and like tell me about all the crazy shit that they would do and all the crazy shit that they would find in the bags of chicken and like all that kind of shit, and like how it like clearly didn't look like fucking a chicken serving, and they'd be like, no, just fry it up, man. It's like, it'll get softer and like shit like that. And like, oh my god, man. Like some employees like him like didn't give a fuck. Like I remember him literally telling me like he didn't give a fuck. Like he thought it was funny to like serve that shit up. And like I never went there like for like time after he started working there. And when I had the inside scoop.
Oh fuck. So that's the worst, when you get like an inside scoop about like places and you're like, don't ruin this for me, and there's just like, no man, you gotta avoid going here. Yeah. It's not even just like restaurants too, it's just like, if you someone that works at like an American Eagle or fucking or like wherever, like a Gap or
that's
anywhere, right?
Point.
Like fucking, and you just kind of hear about how these businesses are run, and it's just like, man, I know this place has been up like ever since I was a kid, and it's just like same management. It's just like, I guess because like they know people are just gonna rotate through the job regardless, so like they don't have to treat their employees well, which is really sad.
It's an interesting thing with like things like American Eagle as well, because it's like a concept of them like selling youth and like a certain like look and like that kind of thing. So like they want their employees to be like a certain age and like
100%.
that kind of shit. So it's like they need their employees like no matter what, but they treat them like fucking
garbage,
trash,
yeah. But I guess that's the thing though. It's like because like what was it, Hollister too? I think they were sued like a few years back because like they would literally have
fucking
to like
buddy went off, eh?
yeah, they would have to like rate like their staff, and they're like, oh, like you have to be like, what is it, like an 8 or above or whatever.
Yeah, that
which is
dude literally
fucked
said
up.
that he wouldn't like, he doesn't want ugly people wearing his clothes. You remember that shit?
Yeah.
That shit was fucking stupid, bro. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and so like, could
Meanwhile,
you,
he's looking fucking ugly as shit himself, bro. Like,
yeah,
how
could
could
you
like,
imagine being like a teenage girl or guy, you know what I mean, and like you're still very impressionable, and like you're going for your first job, you're like, oh shit, like I gotta call back, interview a fucking Hollister or whatever. You go in and it's just fucking this 40-year-old man. He's just like breathing hard, and he's like, you're a 6.5 at best. Who, like,
Oh my
to someone
God,
who's
yeah.
fucking, you know what
Exactly.
I mean? Like rating like a teenage girl like that or guy, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
and just fucking basically being you're attractive enough to work here is so
Yeah.
fucked up to me. And like I guess it still happens, you know, at other clothing places. They're probably a lot more quiet about it, like, you know, probably like Victoria's Secret and like
Yeah.
American Eagle, and like, you know what I mean, because like you said, they're selling, you know, youth or like their product and to a certain customer, right?
Yeah.
And they obviously have to
Yeah, you wouldn't want to
keep their
buy it from
brand.
like a mom, you know, or
Yeah,
something like that.
you know what I mean, I guess. But like at the same time, it's so weird that these practices where it's just like you're gonna get judged based on like how you know what I mean, and it's just
Yeah.
like
It almost like begs the like question, like when you get past a certain age, you know, like I definitely don't in my case it's like a little bit different, but like I definitely don't like shop there because I thrift a lot, you know.
Yeah.
I usually just like, because I like the idea of recycling clothes and like all that kind of stuff, and like there's no need to buy like an overpriced fucking hoodie for like $60 from like a store when you can just go
ugly
get
ass
like
A and E on the front.
yeah, and you just go get like some plain hoodie and, you know, make your own shit, you know. Draw on it or like put your own logo on it, or like just make it how you want to make it, you know.
For sure. It's ironic because like, okay, so like I'm wearing American Eagle jeans right now.
That's true, yeah.
It's because my mom loves like their jeans there, so like every year she gets us like a few, you know, pairs or whatever, like throughout the year, like, you know, Christmas, birthdays, like we just need new jeans and all that. So like she really fucks with their jeans, you know, whatever. So she buys me jeans, but I wear a lot of, like we were talking about this the other day, off podcast, where I wear a lot of band merch or like rap merch or like whatever, and I have a lot of it, and I just kind of cycle through it. And I wear a lot of like Nike and Adidas and stuff too, so like that's like a lot more plain, or, you know, or
Yeah.
you can get like spiced up with that shit too. But yeah, I definitely fuck with like the whole thrifting. A lot of the stuff I've, you know,
Yeah.
thrifted too, or yeah, I just bought at shows and stuff like that.
Thrifting's like a lot more personal too, when you like go and find something that like it's like, because there's no sizes, like there's no like multiples of one thing, you just find one thing, you
Yeah,
know.
so
It's
if,
like
whatever you find, if it's fucking
Yeah.
a small and you only fit into a medium, you're like, ah, shit, can I fucking squeeze into that? Or fucking, you're like, damn, you know.
little toothpaste action
Yeah,
going
can I
on,
fucking
squeezing
just
out the
pass on it,
bag.
man?
I definitely feel that. And like also like with thrifting, like you never know what you're gonna find. It's like an exciting, like you're getting much more than just like looking for clothes, like, you know, you're just like, it's exciting, you know, you never know what you're gonna find. And like
Yeah.
with a lot of thrift stores, there's always like things like books and like movies and like video games and like music and like old records, and like
100%.
most of my record collection is like literally like all old records from like the thrift store, you know. Like I didn't have like I think we talked about this, like maybe we didn't put this episode out, but like a lot of like record stores too nowadays too, like they overcharge for their records, so it's like it's almost better to go to the thrift store and build your collection off of stuff from there, instead of like wasting like all this unnecessary money.
Yeah,
on
find an original print of, you know, the Beatles or whatever versus
that's
fucking
the
a
other thing.
mass-produced one.
You're
And-
not gonna find an original print for a decent price ever at a record store. In a thrift store, unless there's somebody that's like intaking the stuff that knows what they're looking for. Because there's a couple times where I've been to like a VV and like I went to like the front like glass counter where they have like all that like
For sure.
the expensive stuff, and they've had like a couple vinyls in there. So like there's definitely like original pressings that get picked out of the stack, but sometimes I don't know what they're looking at. Sometimes I don't know what they're like, you know.
Yo, like I said, that one time I found a Burberry coat, man. Fucking, you come across these gems, and it's like every once in a while. And I know exactly what you mean at like VV. Like one time I saw a GameCube, and it was like $20, and I wanted to scoop it so bad, and I was just like, it's like,
Yo, I got a story to tell you. So like me and my girlfriend went to this VV, and she basically, like, I had this thing. So she just got a Switch, right? And, like, I also wanted to cop a Switch, but I'm kind of broke. So I'm like, yo, I might just get a Wii for now because they're going for pretty cheap. So we went to this VV. We were having this conversation earlier that day. We went to this VV later that day, and I see a Wii in the glass case. So I'm like, yo, sick. It's only $20. I copped the Wii. It doesn't come with all the necessary cords. So I go on Amazon, buy the rest of the cords, get them all in the mail. A couple days later, I'm setting it up. It doesn't work, bro.
Yeah.
I have it sitting over there. It was the most heartbreaking thing ever. And like, I remember at the store, I asked her like, "Does this work?" And she's just like, "I don't know. We can try and turn it on for you." But she's giving me like mad attitude. And I was just like,
Oh, damn.
fuck out of you, bitch.
I can hook you up with a Wii U.
I'm all right, man.
Yeah,
I'm
alright.
gonna probably pass for now because like I also have to focus on school right now.
That's
I can't.
true, yeah.
I'm just gonna
Alright.
cop one in the summer if I cop
Fair,
one.
fair.
Yeah.
100%, man. But no, yeah, I definitely like thrifting. I definitely like trying to find some shit. But yeah, it's always bad when you're like, do I take the gamble on it? And like I said earlier, I like to gamble. So sometimes I will take that gamble and I'll try and fund something or like, you know, see if electronics work. Like the one time I bought a camera from VV. I thought it was a DSLR, but I was wrong. So I took that gamble and I lost that one.
Oh.
But it was still like a fine little camera, and I just kind of used it to fucking take pics of like whatever I wanted, and then kind of broke soon after. So I was like, whatever, man.
Yeah, I've gotten a couple digital cameras from there for like just like super cheap, but they're always like people donated them for a reason. Like they're always like super low quality or like something's buggy about them, or they only take like SD cards that are a certain size and from like a certain year, and it's like fuck this shit.
100%. The one thing that kind of bugs me is just like, it's like sometimes why would people donate some of this shit? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why would some people want these things? And like, maybe I'm thinking of it from a wrong place, because like maybe there's people who will always like want these things, but from my general perspective, there's like sometimes you find these shirts or like clothing items that are just like way out of place. Like maybe it's like, you know, a double XL shirt and it's got like a few holes in it. You can obviously tell someone, you know, like use it as like a work shirt, and they're like selling it for like $4, and it's just like, all right, maybe someone will use this for a work shirt, but I'm like, why wouldn't you just get one with no hole? You know what I mean?
Yo, I definitely agree with that, man. Cause like sometimes I've seen shit in there where like the necklines look like somebody just had a fucking like WWE match before like they fucking sold that shit.
Trying
bro.
to rip it off themselves and they weren't that strong, and they're like, ah, shit.
It's all fucked up, man. And like
even they get some weird sayings. It'll be like, you know, like,
oh, the sayings are the worst, man.
Yeah, and it's just like fucking. It'll be like female body inspector, and it's just like,
yeah,
who's buying this shit,
who's gonna
bro?
get this shit, bro?
Who's buying this
and
shit?
like the worst part is like those are always the shirts that are marked down, right? Like they're the cheapest ones. So like if you have somebody that's maybe not familiar with the English language that's coming over, maybe looking for some cheap clothes that like,
that's true.
You know, they're gonna see these shirts and it's like, oh, this is a cool graphic design. They're not gonna necessarily know what it says. They're only gonna go off the price and they're gonna cop it. It's just like he's got like somebody walking around with that shit on now. It's like you should get rid of that shit, you know?
For real, actually, I've seen a few TikToks here about Shine. Do you know the company?
No, I don't.
I don't know. I've like, I think my girlfriend and her sister have ordered off it. I think it's just kind of like a Chinese company, like Wish.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about now, I think.
Oh, I think so. I think
Anyways,
Harpreet was
yeah,
talking
but like
about
it's like cheap clothing and you can buy shit off it. But I've seen some TikToks recently where it's showcasing some of their like t-shirts with sayings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's like it's super broken English because it's just like someone ran it through a translator and all that, which you can't really fault them for, but it's just kind of like funny. And then like I saw one where it was like stickers too, and it's just like they have some of the like the most ridiculous sayings.
Do you remember
and, like,
some of
you
the
can
sayings?
understand what they're trying to say because it's just like it's trying to be like, oh, like me and you are best friends or whatever, and then it's just like my best friend, you know, hurt you or something like that, and it's just like, you know, it's like, who?
Dude, I remember in first year I would always like see kids like around campus and all that, like some of the international students, and they'd be wearing like some pretty cool outfits, but they would have like English on them, right? And it would always be like weird shit like that. It'll be like, come check my space moon or something like that. Like,
fuck, man. Okay, one of the coolest kids I ever met in college, his name was Rex. Well, that was his Canadian name, that which he picked himself when he got here.
Damn, bro.
His real name was Chinqua, and he's just like, no, he's just like, call me Rex. And he didn't speak a lot of English, but he knew like enough. And he was a really cool dude. He had a brand new Mercedes. Fucking, he had the freshest clothes. He fucking had a giant apartment in like Waterloo and all that. But the one time he wore like a shirt like that, where it's just like, and I was just like, I knew like, cause he wore like Gucci and stuff like that. And I don't know if he bought it here and like he did kind of something similar where he just thought it was just like, you know,
fresh shirt.
Yeah, fresh shirt or whatever. And it's just like, ah, damn. And it's just like, you can't really like go up and be like, damn, bro, you don't wear that shirt. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
That just goes to show you can't buy drip though. You know, you can't like just like pay for like cool stuff. You know, you gotta like know what style is and like, you know, and like if you just like know what's like, you know, like cool and like, I don't want to say cool. That's a bad word for it. But like if you know what like looks good on you, you know, you don't have to like worry about that kind of shit, you know?
Like, that's the thing. Like, 99% of his stuff was, like, well-styled and, like, all that. I guess he took a gamble and he lost, bro.
Man.
The theme of this podcast.
I found with, like, a lot of stuff like that, though, too. It's just, like, you're seeing, like, people... It seems well-styled, but it's just, like, a lot of hype beasty kind of, like, like, stuff, you know? It's, like, only well-styled because it's, like, in trend, you know? But, like, how on point is the outfit going to be in, like, X amount of years? Which, like, most of them are probably going to be because, like, I fuck with this, like, current generation of, like trends and like style and all that. I think it's like a good like set of like styles.
The one that gets me is Travis Scott wore it not too long ago. It was the super long pants and that like he stacked them.
Oh,
do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
What did he? It was like last year that he wore it. Anyways, and that became like a really big thing for fast fashion. And I saw a lot of people were buying these extra long jeans to stack too. And just, they couldn't pull it off because they weren't doing the stacks right. And obviously like the quality and like everything wasn't in line. And so they were just doing these stacked jeans. Yeah. And it just kind of came out looking like a stack of Lay's chips, you know what I mean? Fucking
weird. I definitely think if you like can like pull something off, then like just pull it off, you know? And like even like if like somebody's wearing a shirt that says something stupid on it, there's definitely ways you can like pull that dumb shit off and like I don't know, just like wear shirts ironically and like that kind of shit. And like I don't know, style I feel like is like do you remember that one show on TLC, What Not to Wear, with like Stacey London?
I've heard of it. I never really watched it, I'm gonna be honest.
See, I have a big sister, so like most of the TV time was dedicated to shows like that.
Dedicated her.
Yeah, so I remember on that show, it used to always cheese me because they never actually like let the people uniquely express themselves through their clothing. They always just picked whatever was on trend and they kind of curated the outfits for them. And they was just like going again with like the hype beast style at the time, you know, like the ugly ass graphic design on the tee and like just stupid ass clothes versus like teaching somebody the genuine like style that they want to have, you know, is like pretty much exactly how they want to dress, just like with things that like basic things like wearing clothes that fit you and like all that kind of thing. They're like, if you know, like there's nothing wrong with wearing baggy clothes because I like wearing baggy clothes too, but like I don't know, I think if like as you get older, you know, there's certain like clothes you should like not wear. Like, you shouldn't be wearing like a fucking like 3XL.
See, okay, here's the thing too, like we're here saying this, but like I've seen these videos and this one girl, she was wearing like, I swear to God, it was like a 1950s styled like dress, and like she did like her makeup all like, but like she killed the outfit, and I'm just like, and like she, I guess, dressed similarly to that like every day. It was more like,
that's sick.
I don't know what to call it. Like, what's that like 50s, you know, 60s fashion where it's, you know what I'm talking about?
I don't want to use the wrong term, but I know like the kind of look you're talking about.
Yeah, you ever see Mad Men and like and like how the women dress, like the dresses are like plain and they're kind of like form fitting and all, but like she killed that, and I'm just like,
it's like pen up or something. Is that the
word
for that?
Yeah, something like that maybe.
I feel like that's like the wrong term, so I don't want to offend anybody.
It's probably like a bad word or some shit. Fucking, we're calling her some bad names. No, I'm just gonna call it Mad Men Drip, bro.
Yeah, Mad Men Drip.
Mad Men Drip. But no, she fucking she killed that shit, and I'm just like, okay, like for probably 99% of people, it's not gonna work, or they don't know how to style. But like she killed it, and I'm just like, all right, man, you got my respect. If you're gonna dress like this every day, go for it, man. You pull it off.
That's the thing, right? Because like she's grinding to like, that probably like makes her like really happy to dress like that. So she's like grinding for herself every day when she does that. Which, and
she definitely learned how to style. It wasn't just like overnight. She's like, oh, I'm just gonna do this. Like,
yeah, most definitely, for sure. Learned, right? Yeah, for sure. And like the cool thing about that is like when you look at her outfits, like you can clearly like tell what time period she's trying to emulate and like all that kind of stuff, and she's like got that down, which I think is cool for sure.
And I know you were talking about having an older sister there, and you know, having some trouble. You know, she controlled TV time and all that. I want to take you real quick to a story with my sister. So there's an 8-year gap between us. So I'm the oldest. Now, this is a throwback to when I was about 11, 12-ish, and I was babysitting my younger sister. And so she was about 4, and my parents had we had a family laptop. And that was like when laptops were first becoming like huge and like in people's homes, because usually people still have like those old fucking
the big old desktop towers.
Yeah, right. And I think we had one of those too, but yeah. Anyways, we were allowed a half hour of computer time. Yeah. You know, as children, and so I was using mine to watch Pokemon. You know, I was really big into the anime, so I was using my time to watch the newest episode, and my sister didn't like that, and you know, being a little 4-year-old, she thought it was her time on the laptop, and like trying to tell her, be like, "Hey man, like no, it's my turn." You know what I mean?
Hey
yeah,
man.
For real. And then she had a little bit of anger that day, and so I don't know what got into her, but I told her no. I was like, my show's almost done or whatever, and 4-year-olds don't listen. So she pulled back the screen and pulled it down hard and broke the fucking laptop. And like, laptops weren't like, they're still not cheap today. They're cheaper than they were when they, you know, first came out and all that. And so this piece of shit Dell that we had, it fucking just, the screen snapped, and I went into pure fucking shock and horror, and my little sister just went, you can't, like, you don't get the, and I was like, you don't get to play either, man. You don't get your fucking your time to play your fairy princess game or whatever the fuck she was playing at the time, treehouse type of shit. And I was in pure fucking panic, because I was like, I have to explain this to my parents. They're gonna come home and fucking rip my asshole, because you know, I'm babysitting, and she fucking broke this expensive ass fucking laptop they got for us.
Did you get spanked when you were growing up?
No. Weird. Okay, my parents don't believe in like physical punishment.
Yeah. Okay.
So they psychologically fucked with me.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's probably worse.
Dude, my dad always used to say, my dad is one of the nicest fucking people too, and like, but like as a kid, you know, he had to be a little hard on me sometimes, right? But no, my parents say that, like, I was a pretty like well-mannered kid growing up most of the time, but when I did act up, they would my dad would tell me, he'd be like, I'm gonna sell you. And like that scared the shit out of me as a child.
Yeah,
like,
you don't want to be sold.
Because I didn't want to be sold. I didn't know what family I was gonna go to. And I was just like, I like my life. Like, you know, I love my mom, I love my dad. So like, yeah, the one odd time, like, I'd start like having a little bit of a fit with my parents, whatever.
A bit of a psychotic break.
Yeah, or like, and that was mostly my dad. My mom would just do the standard mom thing. She'd be like, go to your room, or like put your nose in a corner or whatever, and fucking as a little fucking asshole. I was like, all right.
So you had to go sit in the corner a lot when you were growing up?
Pardon?
You had to go sit in the corner a lot when you were growing up?
No, you don't sit, man. You stand with your nose into the wall.
Damn, bro. So I never had to do no shit like that.
Yeah, and you just like stare at the wall. And
yeah, that sounds like actual torture, standing with your nose into the wall.
So you don't see anything, you can hear things, and you get tired of standing. And
sounds like fucking solitary confinement.
I'm really making my parents out to be assholes here. I don't think it was that bad as a child, but maybe they fucked me up secretly. I don't know.
Damn, bro.
Did you get like physical punishment?
Well, yeah. Well, when I was growing up, my mom used to like slap me or whatever, and like that kind of stuff. But like, my parents are also, you know, like from that era, and like they're not from this country, you know. So like, back home, you know, they got it way worse than I got it. You know, like my dad would tell me stories about like he had like a sugarcane, like he grew up on a sugarcane farm, and like my grandpa would take like sugarcane, like fucking like stalks basically, and beat the fuck out of him and his brother, and like that kind of shit. And like, you know, like, so like I got like, you know, like I got hit with shit when I was growing up, you know, like I got whacked with sticks and like all that kind of shit. And like, it was kind of jokes to like looking back, and even like as it was happening to me, I was like a big like wrestling fan growing up, so like it was always funny to me. Like it was never like funny to you? Yeah, it was never like, okay, I'm getting like beat and like I'm like gonna be like sad about it or whatever now, because like always after, like when I got beat, like my parents and me would always just like hang out after, and like they were never like go sit in your room and like think about what you did. Like my parents never did that kind of shit to me.
It was just
you
like
know?
the quick dole out of
Yeah,
punishment.
it was just like they would
we're-
get mad at me in the moment and then like make sure I understood I made a mistake, and like
100%.
there wasn't never really that explaining thing, but it was just like don't do this shit again type shit, you know. And like like I just like I never like had to go sit in my room or like any of that kind of shit, and like sit by myself. Like even when I got beat, like they were always with me like after, which like you know.
Yeah, my parents grew up. They got like fucking the ruler and shit like that, and like my dad especially hated it because he's just like it's not really like a fair way. Like
that's the thing, because like as I got that kind of shit too, like the ruler when I was growing up, and I'm never gonna like do that to my kids. So I totally get where your dad's coming from.
Yeah,
but
he's
like,
just like it's never like really a fair way to like punish a kid and all that. And like obviously people have their different like inclinations of what a fair punishment is, and children are gonna act up regardless or whatever.
Dude, yeah, physical like abuse is never the answer though. Like that's like never, because like granted all those times like I thought it was funny and all that kind of shit, like that's still like there's like a certain line I never crossed with like my parents, and like still like I'm really close with my mom, but like I'm not that, like there's like a certain like distance because of certain things, between me and my, and like
and like I don't know, this is personally like in my dad's case too, like it made him want to act out a little bit more, because he's like, well, if I'm gonna get in shit anyways, and like, you know what I mean, like might as well go that extra step. And like I don't know, so he really just believed in that whole just fucking mentally torture my son.
Mentally torture.
But no, it was really good. My dad he got me I had this aircraft carrier that he got me as a kid, and fucking it came with like all these like metal planes and like army men and all that. And like my dad is always like he's really big, like respect the troops, and like he loves the army type of, like, you know what I mean. And fucking so he got me a lot of those to play with as a child. And I remember the one time fucking I was playing army men versus fucking Transformers, you know what I mean.
What about
very unfair, man. Transformers would kick
Transformers would eat those army.
But I was doing that the one time, and fucking another punishment he told me, he's like, I'm gonna take your aircraft carrier away. And I was like, no, that holds all my planes, that holds all my like.
Damn.
Transformers are gonna win if that gets taken away. You know what I mean? Fucking so that was another big punishment as a kid, because like, I used to love that fucking the thing that he got me.
He would always take that away. That was his go-to.
See, the thing is like I don't even think they like actually did take it away that often. It was just it was always a threat.
Yeah. Okay,
and like I said, I was a pretty mild-mannered kid, so like I kind of was just brained in anyways, and just kind of doing my own thing. It was when I got siblings where shit started to go out of control, because my brother's 4 years younger than me, and like I said, my sister 8 younger than me. So we were at different stages of our lives. And so I'd be like a preteen, or you know what I mean, or like a teenager, and like they would piss me off, and like I'd express it in different ways and all that, and
swearing
like,
at them, punching them,
and like so I'm fucking 16, my sister's 8, and like she's pissing me off because she's an 8-year-old and like being annoying, and I'm 16 and moody, and I'm cool as fuck, you know what I mean. And then now we get along, but she's moody and I'm fucking like last night she wanted me to like go get her fries, and I was like, I'm not gonna buy you fries. She gets all mad at me and all that, and then she wouldn't talk to me, and she's just sitting there, and then I was just like, are you okay, are you mad, and all that, and she's just like the whole moody, don't fucking talk to me, I hate you type of thing or whatever. But I know today like she's gonna be okay with me, and like I'm just like, now I love you now, because like I'm old and I don't have like teenage anger and angst anymore. I'm like, let's hang out, let me show you love and all that.
No, it's definitely like a blessing probably to be like at that stage to like look back on that, because like you didn't have like that older sibling, so it's like kind of good to be that like older sibling for her. And like definitely as somebody with an older sibling, I really appreciated having my sister growing up, like it was always somebody that like had that little extra bit of wisdom than you, but you could also like talk to them like they're the same as you, but
exactly,
you know what I mean, like you didn't have to feel like you were getting judged and all that kind of thing. So,
and it's really cool, because like now like I said, like me and my sister do hang out a little bit, and like I noticed like I've influenced her a lot, because like I was telling you earlier, but we were hanging out and we were going for a drive the other day, and we went to like we just washed my car, and we're like, I don't know, she likes doing that with me. She always asks me, can we go wash her car? Don't know why, but it's a good time for us. And pardon me, we were driving the other day, and she's like, "Oh, can I have Ox?" And I'm like, "Yeah, fuck it, whatever. Give my little sister Ox." And she starts playing like Suicide Boys and Little Peep and like all this shit, and like, and I'm like, "Damn, like what? You fuck with all this shit?" I'm like, and just like, I noticed that like because I would play like shit like that around her. And just like rap in general and things I was interested in, and then she's kind of picked up and like starting to like carve out her own lane and all that, and like obviously like my other cousin who she hangs out with a lot has kind of influenced her too. But it's kind of nice seeing that like that little bit of a family bond grow a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's definitely important to like have that as well. Like if you do have siblings, to like keep that bond, because there's like no other bond that's like that, like
for sure
you can always like
you grow up and as things become different in your lives,
yeah,
it's gonna be a little bit harder, but yeah, keeping that bond strong, definitely.
Yeah, for sure,
definitely
man.
A good way.
For sure.
I think it's time to kind of wrap stuff up here, so
yeah,
let's throw out our reviews for the week as we exit here. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure, man. Okay, so basically this week, what kind of media have I been intaking? I listened to this one Granny album. It's called it's just called Granny. Okay. It's on YouTube. It's from, I want to say it's from like the 70s or something. Ooh. It's a really, really good album though. I would definitely recommend checking it out. Grannie, I think, and then that's the name of the band and the album.
What's the genre there?
It's like a little bit of progressive rock, like kind of like the old psychedelic sound. It's like a lot of like, it's a weird sound. The first track on the album has this like weird flute noise in it, and like it's not traditional guitar, drum, like Beatles type sounding like rock. It's like that sound, but it's like with different instruments. So it's like it's kind of a weird album, and like a lot of the vocals are like really, really cool.
Sweet.
And yeah, dope album. You should definitely check it out, guys.
There you go. There's Aman's review. For me this week, I am going to go a little bit more mainstream here. I'm watching The Mandalorian Season 2.
Okay.
Are you about this?
I haven't been catching up, but like I am about it. But
Did you
like,
see Season 1?
Not in full,
okay.
not in full. But
All
like
right.
I've definitely seen like pieces of it for sure.
For sure. So I won't spoil it too much. But yeah, so second episode is now out. I watched it second day, whatever day it came out. And it's a little bit slow. This the start to this season. It's a little bit more episodic. But I'm still really enjoying it. I love that classic Star Wars feel, and especially this last episode. It gave me that. There's a point where they purposely show it's like 70s, like GPS track. Like in the old Star Wars, how fucking, they'd have that like. It's like the dark green with the green lines.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
And it's like it's a tracking system.
Yeah, like
and
the
all
navigation
that.
system.
Yeah, the navigation. They at one point they showed that, and it really hits me in the nostalgia, man.
That's sick.
Yeah, and
I really like the way it's shot with like the screens and all that, like where they like set up like a 3D environment with like all those screens and shit, because like it's all reflected on the helmets, and like it just looks so like clean and crisp. Like 100%. They really like recaptured the environment.
But yeah, especially this episode is really, there was some moments, I don't want to spoil them obviously, that really hit me in the nostalgia feeling. I was like, oh shit, like, you know what I mean? It was a shorter episode, I think only like 37 minutes this week versus like 58 or 56 from the first episode there. But it's definitely, it's still got that classic Star Wars feel. I'm very excited for the rest of the episodes for this season. Fucking Mandalorians are fucking dope in general, the concept, and fucking this whole Baby Yoda fucking with all the memes, and it's a fucking it's a puppet.
Yeah, it's a really cool spin for sure. Yeah,
it's dope. I'm glad they went back to puppets and stuff, because like the original Yoda was a puppet, and then they tried to do the CGI and people hated it, and they really learned. And
CGI Yoda looks fucking weird, bro.
Yeah,
yeah,
right?
CGI Yoda looks dumb.
So yeah, they've gone back to this puppet, and it's so fucking cute the way they move it. My girlfriend's in love. But yeah, definitely everyone check out The Mandalorian Season 2 if you're a fan of Star Wars, or the first season, or you're just looking for something new, man.
If you're just a fan of space, man, it's worth checking out. Like not even just being a fan of Star Wars, like just being a fan of like space and like the imagery, man. Like it's just so beautiful and like really, really dope.
CGI is fucking amazing in that show too.
Yeah, most definitely.
But yeah, anyways, that's it for us this week. Make sure to check out all the socials, share us with your friends. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the podcast. See you guys next week.